Namaste, fellow seekers of knowledge. I am Archana Raghuram. Welcome back to Temples, Books and Science. Sometimes within the Lalita Sahasranamam, we encounter a name so profound, so resonant with layers of meaning that we are left in awe. It's a name that reverberates through countless sacred texts and Puranas, sung by the greatest philosophers and poets throughout the ages. To attempt a comprehensive description of such a name feels almost impossible. And now we arrive at such a name, the 112th name, Bhavānī. Therefore, let me begin with a humble acknowledgement. What follows is merely a tiny drop in the vast ocean of meaning that is Bhavānī. The simple meaning of Bhavānī is wife of Bhava. Bhava is another name for Shiva. So this name tells us that she is the wife of Shiva. But what exactly does Bhava mean? It means existence, being or origin. In short, Bhava refers to Sat aspect of Brahman. Sat means pure existence. It is that which always is and never changes, the very source from which the universe arises, exists and functions. And Bhavānī is the power of Bhava, the very power through which Bhava, Sat, the pure existence, manifests as the living cosmos. Bhavānī therefore signifies the dynamic aspect of Brahman. She is the creative force that brings forth the universe from pure stillness. I have created a detailed video to explain what exactly Vedanta means by Sat or pure existence. If you would like to delve deeper into this foundational concept, I have provided a link in the description. Remember how we began the Sahasranamam with 3 names that describe her as the Shrishti Sthitilaya Karini, the creator, sustainer and destroyer of the universe? The Vivarana Grantha too begins by reiterating this fundamental truth with the name Bhavānī. It signifies that which is the cause of the universe, that which supports and pervades it, the one constant existence throughout its birth, being and dissolution, unchanged and unaffected by these cosmic cycles. Apart from this, the name Bhavānī holds immense sacred significance, revered not only for its meaning but as a potent mantra itself. Countless sacred texts and rishis proclaim its unique and powerful promise to bestow Sayujya or moksha, the ultimate liberation, the profound oneness with Brahman. Adi Shankaracharya beautifully describes the power of this name in Saundarya Lahari. Bhavānī tvam dāse mai vitara drishtim sa karunām iti stotum vanchan katayati Bhavānī tvam iti yaha tadaiva tvam tasmai dishasi nija sayujya padavīm mukunda brahmendra sputa makuta nirajita padām. This profound verse underscores the inherent potency of the name Bhavānī. If you look at this verse, on the surface, it conveys a devotee's humble intention. O Bhavānī, bestow your compassionate glance upon me, your servant, your dasa. Bhavānī tvam dāse mayivitara drishtim sa karunām. Shankaracharya then says, the goddess does not wait for the bhakta to complete the sentence. The magic unfolds as soon as the devotee begins to utter the first 2 words, Bhavānī tvam, which means, O Bhavānī, you. In that very instant, the goddess instantaneously grants the devotee Nija Sayujya Padavīm, the state of profound oneness with her, the ultimate liberation. The key to this interpretation lies in a brilliant grammatical nuance, a pun in the use of the words Bhavānī tvam. Bhavānī tvam in its verbal form can be translated to let me become you. Thus the compassionate goddess perceives the devotee's utterance Bhavānī tvam not merely as a plea for grace but as the profound Advaitic yearning, may I become one with you. And in response to this deepest aspiration, she grants Sayujya, the highest form of liberation, the complete and indivisible union with her. Notice how beautifully Shankaracharya weaves together the threads of bhakti, devotion, and sharanagati, surrender, with the profound understanding of Atma-jnanam. Proclaiming one's inherent oneness with Brahman, the ultimate jnanam, is not discordant with bhakti. For Shankaracharya, the heartfelt appeal to the Divine Mother Bhavānī is not an obstacle to the path of Jnana Yoga, but is in fact a powerful and direct means to attain moksha, the ultimate liberation born of wisdom. The Lalita Sahasranamam at its heart is a profound treatise on Atma-jnanam, the wisdom of the self. We see this right from the very beginning in the Dhyana Sloka itself, which proclaims Ahamityeva vibhavaye Bhavānī. Here, the core principle that we worship the goddess with a deep conviction that she is our very self and we are one with her is powerfully reiterated. Also note, the hymn invokes the name Bhavānī while making this declaration, Ahamityeva vibhavaye Bhavānī. This is no mere coincidence. The name Bhavānī itself is imbued with the power to grant this very realization of oneness. It is a sacred mantra that encapsulates the ultimate truth of non-duality, making it the perfect epithet when declaring our inherent unity with the goddess. Thus, the name Bhavānī, seemingly simple, unveils a profound truth. The dynamic power that births and sustains the cosmos is intimately reachable through devotion, capable of granting not just material well-being, but the supreme freedom of Sayujya. The Lalita Sahasranamam itself provides a key to accessing the profound power embodied by Bhavānī. The very next name, the 113th name, is Bhavānagamya, meaning she who is reached only through Bhavānā. Therefore, the Lalita Sahasranamam directly reveals that Bhavānā is the specific means to connect with the potent energy signified by the name Bhavānī. Now, Bhavānā is not merely casual thought or imagination. Bhavānā is a far deeper, more profound inner state. It is characterized by intense and deeply felt emotions, a focused and unwavering mental perception, and an emotional quality richly imbued with love and unwavering devotion. It transcends the limitation of pure logic and intellectual understanding. Crucially, cultivating this state of bhavana requires the gradual dissolution of the ego, the ahankara. All the external rituals, elaborate decorations, and various offerings serve as aids, tools to strengthen and deepen inner bhavana. The Divine Mother, in her boundless compassion, primarily accepts the devotee's heartfelt feeling, the genuine love and devotion, the bhavana infused into the offering, leaving the material substance behind as prasada, a sacred blessing. Another insightful interpretation of the name Bhavānagamya connects it to the Bhavana Upanishad, a sacred text that specifically focuses on the internal worship, Antaryaga of the goddess. This Upanishad emphasizes the profound practice of meditation on the Sri Chakra and the Kundalini energy as the primary means of communion with the goddess. The very chanting of Lalita Sahasranamam is a powerful form of bhavana, deeply involving meditation on the Divine Mother's sacred names, her countless divine attributes, and her beautiful forms. Now, here's where this name takes an intriguing turn. In Sanskrit, Bhavānagamya and Bhavānagamya look identical when written together. Bhavānagamya. Bhavānagamya means one who is beyond thought. This resonates deeply with the description of Brahman as formless, nirakara, and beyond the grasp of thought, achintya rupa. So, how do we reconcile these seemingly opposite meanings within a single name? The beauty of this name lies in this very paradox. The formless goddess, the ultimate reality that transcends thought and conceptualization, can only be truly grasped through the profound depth of love and devotion, through that intense, focused inner state we know as Bhavana. How incredible is that? Ultimately, Bhavānaṇya-Gamyā underscores that Goddess, though beyond thought, is reached through the very Bhavana that stills the mind and opens the heart to her presence. Now we arrive at the 114th name, which reveals the liberating power she grants us. Bhavāraṇya-kuṭhārikā. This powerful name translates to she who is the potent axe that expertly fells the dense and bewildering forest of Samsara. Here, Samsara, the cycle of birth, death and rebirth with all its attendant suffering and entanglement, is likened to a thick and impenetrable jungle. Thus, Lalita Tripura Sundari is revealed as the ultimate liberating force, wielding the sharp axe of Jnanam, divine wisdom, and Anugraha, compassionate grace. With this divine axe, she decisively cuts through the tangled wilderness of samsara, clearing the path for her devoted seekers to transcend suffering and attain ultimate freedom, moksha. This triad of names, Bhavānī, Bhavānā-Gamyā and Bhavāraṇya-kuṭhārikā, beautifully outlines a spiritual journey. Bhavānī signifies Shraddha, faith, and Sharanagati, surrender. The journey begins with the recognition of the Divine Mother as the ultimate power, the source of all life and existence, a recognition that inherently embodies the spirit of surrender. Much like Shankaracharya's profound declaration, Bhavani Tvam Dase, O Mother Bhavani, I am your servant. Following this initial faith and surrender, Bhavānā-Gamyā speaks of antar sadhana, the internal worship and deep contemplation that allows us to connect with the divine. And finally, Bhavāraṇya-kuṭhārikā reveals her as moksha-pradayini, the bestower of liberation. The fruit of such profound internal realization and unwavering devotion, nurtured by Shraddha and Sharanagati, is the activation of Goddess's liberating power, the axe that fells the forest of samsara. This structured progression within the Sahasranamam underscores its nature not only as a hymn of praise but also as a profound guide to spiritual realization, mapping out the stages of a devotee's journey from initial faith to ultimate liberation. The next three names in the Lalita Sahasranamam beautifully articulate the Divine Mother's inherently auspicious and benevolent nature. This sequence marks a thematic shift. We now see that the Divine Mother grants more than just spiritual liberation. She also bestows divine grace and holistic well-being. This includes material prosperity and happiness in our lives. The 115th name is Bhadrapriyā. Primarily it means she who is fond of auspiciousness, highlighting Lalita Devi's inherent delight in all that is benevolent and good. She cherishes acts of righteousness and readily bestows blessings upon her devotees. There is also a beautiful secondary meaning to this name. In fact, Bhadra is another name for Shiva, and both words are essentially synonyms, signifying auspiciousness itself. Therefore, Bhadrapriyā can also be understood as she who is dear to Shiva. While the love between this divine couple is a recurring theme in the Lalita Sahasranamam, for this name, let us focus on the primary interpretation, she who is fond of auspiciousness. While we often perceive auspiciousness as external blessings like wealth, health, prosperity, or the joy of children, dhanam, dhanyam, pashum, bahuputra, labham, our capacity to truly experience and appreciate these gifts is deeply rooted in cultivating inner auspiciousness, purity, virtue, and righteousness within ourselves. As our most sacred verses seeking auspiciousness beautifully articulate, Bhadram karne bishrunuyama devaha, Bhadram pashye makshabirya jatraha. May we hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we see with our eyes what is auspicious. Similarly, the Rig Veda proclaims, Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. May good thoughts come to me from all directions. These ancient prayers highlight a fundamental truth. Before we seek external auspiciousness, we should prioritize seeking and nurturing auspiciousness within our own being. It is this inner foundation that allows us to truly receive and appreciate the abundant grace and fortune bestowed by the Mother Lalita Tripura Sundari. The next name, the 116th, is Bhadramūrtiḥ, which reveals that the Divine Mother is not just fond of auspiciousness, but is its very personification. Bhadramūrtiḥ directly translates to the embodiment of auspiciousness. This signifies that auspiciousness is her intrinsic essence, her manifested form, and she is the source of all blessings and well-being. This is beautifully captured in a well-known sloka, Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive. She who is the auspiciousness in all that is auspicious, she who is the personification of auspiciousness itself. This aligns with her identification with Shiva, whose name means auspicious, and Brahman, the ultimate auspicious reality. Moreover, the meditation upon the goddess as Bhadramūrtiḥ is a key practice in Sri Vidya. By meditating on her as Bhadramūrtiḥ, the worshipper can connect with and internalize this inherent all-pervading auspiciousness. This is not just an intellectual exercise, but an experiential one intended to purify the devotee's own being and imbue them with her positive qualities. The 117th name is Bhakta-saubhāgya-dāyinī. It reveals what the benevolent Bhadramūrtiḥ bestows upon her devoted followers. Bhakta-saubhāgya-dāyinī means she who bestows all fortune to devotees. The Sanskrit word bhagha signifies good fortune or prosperity, encompassing a rich spectrum of blessings. It primarily encompasses 6 things: Aishwaryam, Bhalam, Kirti, Sampada, Jnanam, and Vairagyam, which are prosperity, strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, and dispassion. It should be noted that Vairagyam or dispassion, which is a state of non-attachment to material possessions, is considered a great fortune in our tradition. The term Saubhagya then signifies the best of these 6 bhagas: great prosperity, immense strength, widespread fame, abundant wealth, profound knowledge, and supreme dispassion. This name tells us that the Divine Mother grants a holistic Saubhagya to her devotees, where material well-being and spiritual progress are not separate but deeply intertwined aspects of her divine grace. This all-encompassing fortune extends from worldly happiness and abundance to the inner yearning for the divine, the strength to persevere on the spiritual path, and ultimately liberation, moksha. Again, we see a beautiful and deliberate structure in these 2 groups of names. The third name in each of these triad reveals the palam, the fruit or result of that specific form of worship. Worshipping the goddess as Bhavānī with dedicated Bhavānā culminates in Bhavāraṇya-kuṭhārikā, liberation, the decisive cutting away of Samsara. Similarly, in this triad of Bhadrapriyā, Bhadramūrtiḥ and Bhakta-saubhāgya-dāyinī, this final name unveils its palam. By worshipping her as Bhadrapriyā, the one fond of auspiciousness, and as Bhadramūrtiḥ, the very embodiment of auspiciousness, you are blessed with comprehensive Saubhagya, encompassing both material prosperity and profound spiritual well-being. And now we move to the new and deeply heartening set of names in Lalita Sahasranamam, one that beautifully highlights the profound importance of bhakti. Bhakti-Priyā, Bhakti-Gamyā, Bhakti-Vaśyā. The first of these, the 118th name, Bhakti-Priyā, beautifully encapsulates Lalita Devi's love towards her bhaktas. It means she who delights in devotion. The Lalitopakhyanam itself gives us a wonderful glimpse into why she is Bhakti-Priyā. When the Vagdevis recited the Lalita Sahasranamam, the goddess declares that she derives immense satisfaction when her devotees chant these verses. This tells us that she is indeed Bhakti-Priyā. Also, she emerged from Chidagni Kunda because of the intense penance and profound surrender of the Devas. This underscores her responsiveness to deep acts of devotion. Bhakti-Priyā tells us that Lalita Tripurasundari is not a distant, impassive entity, but one who actively delights in and reciprocates the love of her bhaktas. The Devi's fondness for devotion signifies that bhakti is not merely a transactional means to an end, like obtaining boons or even liberation, but possesses intrinsic value in her eyes. It's a state of being that resonates deeply with the mother. The beauty of bhakti lies in its truly universal quality. It transcends the boundaries of form and expression and the identity of the one who offers it. What matters most is the sincerity of feeling, the purity of intention, that inner bhava which is always deeply cherished by the Divine Mother. This makes the path of bhakti accessible to all, accommodating the beautiful diversity of human temperaments and every stage of spiritual evolution. Following the beautiful revelation that the Divine Mother is Bhakti-Priyā, the 119th name, Bhakti-Gamyā, directly points to the natural consequence of this fondness. This name means she who is attained through devotion. This name tells us that only when all our sadhanas, our spiritual practices, are combined with sincere bhakti, it enables us to receive the anugraha of the goddess. Even paths like jnana, knowledge, or karma, action, require the foundation of bhakti to be truly effective. It is bhakti which holds the unique power to dissolve our ahankara, our ego, the primary obstacle to spiritual advancement. True bhakti is not an external performance, it's an inner awakening, a blossoming within our consciousness. This inward orientation is beautifully echoed in one of my favorite names in the Lalita Sahasranamam. The 870th name of the Lalita Sahasranamam is Antarmukha Samaradhya, which reveals that Lalita Devi is best approached and worshipped by those who turn their gaze within. It is bhakti that naturally guides our gaze inward. That is why Lord Krishna himself reiterates this truth multiple times in the Bhagavad Gita. He declares, Bhaktya mam abhijanati, only through devotion does one truly know me. And again, Bhaktyaatvananya shakya ahamevam vidhorjuna. Through unalloyed bhakti alone, O Arjuna, can I be truly known. Therefore, sincere bhakti refines the devotee's consciousness, enabling them to perceive profound spiritual truths and the very nature of the Divine Mother, truths that remain inaccessible to ordinary senses or mere intellectual reasoning. Devotion or bhakti becomes a sacred way of knowing, a direct path to personal experience, anubhava of Lalita Tripurasundari. The next name, the 120th, Bhakti-Vaśyā, unveils a startling and profoundly intimate aspect of her being, her responsiveness to pure selfless devotion to the extent of being controlled or won over by it. This name reveals the palam, the fruit of sincere bhakti. Bhakti-Vaśyā literally means she who is controlled by devotion, she who is won over by devotion, or she who becomes submissive to the power of devotion. It is crucial to understand that the Devi being controlled by bhakti does not imply that she is in any way diminished. Rather, it is a testament to her infinite compassion and boundless love for her devotees. This control is not a form of coercion exerted by the devotee, but rather the irresistible power of pure selfless love to draw forth her grace and divine presence. Just take a second to think about it. This name offers immense assurance and empowerment to the spiritual aspirant. It indicates that sincere and selfless love is the most potent force in spiritual life. If the supreme goddess, the creator and sustainer of the universe, can be won over by bhakti, then no obstacle is truly insurmountable for a dedicated devotee. Moreover, the devotion cherished by Lalita is one that ultimately leads to the realization of the self, Atma Jnanam. The path of bhakti, therefore, is a transformative process that purifies the mind, elevates the consciousness, and ultimately leads to the experiential understanding of the non-dual reality, where the devotee recognizes Lalita Tripura Sundari as their own Atma and the Atma present in everyone and everything, achieving what Vedanta calls Sarvatma Bhava. The immediate consequence of that profound state of Sarvatma Bhava, where the devotee perceives the entire universe as the very manifestation of Lalita Tripura Sundari, is beautifully revealed in the 121st name, Bhayapaha, which means she who dispels fear. If you think about it, this makes perfect sense. When one truly experiences Sarvatma Bhava, when the consciousness expands to embrace the entire existence as Lalita Devi's form, where is the space for fear to take root? Fear arises from a sense of separation, from perceiving something as other and potentially threatening. But when the devotee beholds Lalita in all things, that sense of otherness dissolves. Just as a person feels secure in the presence of their own mother, the Bhakta, enveloped in the vision of the Divine Mother as all-pervasive, feels her constant protection and loving presence in every aspect of reality. The root cause of Bhayam is Ajnana or ignorance, the lack of true knowledge about our own divine nature and the nature of reality. It is this ignorance that creates the illusion of separation and vulnerability. Lalita Devi as Bhayapaha destroys this fear by dispelling the darkness of ignorance through the light of wisdom. Thus, the ultimate state of fearlessness, Abhaya, bestowed by Bhayapaha, is not merely an absence of external threats, but a profound inner transformation culminating in the realization of one's essential non-difference from her and by extension from all of existence. This is the state of Jivan Mukti, liberation while living. To invoke Bhayapaha is to seek refuge in her boundless compassion and to aspire for that state of unshakable peace that comes from abiding in the fearless embrace of Lalita Tripura Sundari. If you notice, all these 10 names, Bhavānī, Bhavānā-Gamyā, Bhavāraṇya-kuṭhārikā, Bhadrapriyā, Bhadramūrtiḥ, Bhakta-saubhāgya-dāyinī, Bhakti-Priyā, Bhakti-Gamyā, Bhakti-Vaśyā and Bhayapaha all begin with the auspicious letter Bha. These names describe the Bhadrakali Tattvam. Experts in Mantra Shastra believe that these names collectively encode the sacred Bhadrakali mantra. And so, recognizing the powerful energy of Bhadrakali encoded within these 10 names beginning with Bha, we come to the close of our exploration for today. Thank you for being a part of this growing community of knowledge seekers. To continue this journey together and explore more of Lalita Sahasranamam's profound wisdom, please subscribe and ring the bell for updates. If this video sparks something within you, please like it and share it with others who are also walking this path. May you be surrounded by the grace of the goddess Lalita Tripura Sundari. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste.